What's going on, people? My name is Darcage. This is Cho. She is the reason why we did not record earlier in the week. I'm not taking the blame for it. That's her fault.
Yeah, okay.
And this is Mega Time, where we review Power Rangers Megaforce and other things, depending on how we feel. This episode is going to be a little bit different than our previous episodes. The reviews will be shorter, but that's because we have to cram 2 reviews into this review because it is 11 o'clock. It's 11:30 where I live. 12:30 where Cho lives. And the new episode comes out tomorrow. So we have to get this up ASAP because with the PS4 announcement, our gaming channel was super busy. So we didn't have time to record anything last week. I went over it in my vlog, so I'll put a link to my vlog in the description below. Cho will be vlogging like as soon as we end filming here. Cho is going to vlog her vlog, and then also vlog for her personal channel. This episode of Mega Time will be a review of episode 3, Going Viral, and episode 4, Stranger Ranger. Right? I almost said Stranger Danger. I knew that wasn't correct. Cho, what was episode 3 about?
Okay, so episode 3 was the usual believe in yourself episode that was centered around Noah, but also kind of centered around Jake a lot too. It started out with Jake
some real
and
bro
Noah
loving going on between those two.
Bromance.
Yeah,
I think as Gia put it in
deep romance.
The previous episode. I love it. I love that you can use that term too. So we've got Noah and Jake having to tune up, whatever, Jake's axe. And they made
Jake's
a little guitar joke in there.
Metal axe. He needs to upgrade somehow. Is he a blacksmith? He's a level 80 blacksmith, and he needs Noah to reforge his axe. It's so silly. Anyway, sorry.
During this exchange, Noah realizes he can't lift it, and that he's really weak and a nerd, which doesn't make any sense because his arms are so much bigger than Jake's.
I know, like, the only person that has bigger muscles on this show is fucking Troy. So,
really?
Yeah, like he's pretty built, you know. But Jake is like the scrawniest member of the team. I think Gia has bigger muscles than he does, and he can swing that axe like it's nothing. So the fact that Noah, who has bulging biceps out of his polo t-shirts, can't lift it up is pretty funny.
But he realizes that as a character, not really as a person, he can't lift the axe and starts doubting himself. He feels not as good or as strong as his fellow Rangers, and Jake tells him it doesn't matter so long as you believe in yourself. And we get that episode. Usually every season there's always something about believing in yourself.
It's a Power Rangers
It's
trope.
in every show. It's not just Power Rangers, you know. It's in Pokemon, you know.
It's a very
anime in general.
Well, I think it's because it's a kid show, so there's a lot of the after school special kind of messages, you know. And this one is it's kind of like the same reason why almost every show does like a be active episode.
So Jake tells him, "Believe in yourself, Noah. You can do it." Bromance, holding hands and everything. And shortly after that, the monsters attack. This particular monster is a virus. He spreads his, sneeze thing.
Which was pretty
what do you call it?
disgusting.
Slime?
His snot. That's pretty gross. Like, he was sneezing and it was raining. Ugh, that was nasty.
And people start sneezing on each other. They all turn into loogies, which is literal this time. I found that kind of funny.
That's fucking weird.
I didn't think that would actually happen. That's kind of cute. But it starts spreading, but because they're innocent people, they can't actually hurt them. So they find out through Jake and Noah that they need to quarantine them in a little box. Noah successfully uses the axe, finally. Then the team defeats the monster completely. It cuts to Noah running and killing the weird block thing that they quarantined all the Loogies that are now humans. Then the Zombats come, monster grows bigger, the Megazord is summoned, then Noah gets the Sea Brothers card, and Victory Charge, where we finally defeat the giant monster.
Yeah.
And I think...
going back to the Sea Brothers bit, like, the piece, like, the pieces that attach, I don't know, like, there's, like, no articulation in them whatsoever. Because, like, the Saw Shark Zord, which is really difficult to say, is almost like a bicep piece. Like, it goes all the way up to, like, the bicep, and he can't bend his elbow. So, like, instead of, like, him, like, doing anything like this, he just has to keep his arm straight and just, like, like, awkwardly smack him with it. Like, I don't know. A lot of these Zord add-ons for Ghost Sager and Megaforce, like, and when we get into the next episode, the Land Brothers I hate that Zord combination. It looks terrible in my opinion. That fucking gigantic thing on his head. It's nowhere near Samurai.
What's it supposed to be?
It's
like a beetle thing?
It's a stag beetle, a dino, like a T-Rex, and then fucking Drillmon from Digimon, as you so eloquently put it when we were watching the episode.
Yes.
It might be like a rhino or something.
Looks exactly like Drillmon.
I don't know. Anyway,
exactly
we're getting sidetracked. But
sorry.
I think my main
Spoilers.
gripe, my main gripe for Megaforce so far, is them not being able to make up their fucking minds on what they want to say when they morph. It is driving me bananas. Because Troy and his group in this episode ran up and said, "It's morphin' time," and they did the whole little thing. Cool. When Noah ran up and morphed by himself, he screams, "Go, go, Megaforce," and then transforms. I don't like having multiple roll calls. It's confusing, and I don't like it. It's different from the norm. Different is bad. When it comes to this, when you're sticking so tight to the tropes of Power Rangers, you can't do multiple roll calls or multiple morph calls. I want to say henshin calls because that's what they are. they're the henshin calls, but pick one or the other.
Just say henshin calls. If they don't know what you're talking about, then it's their fault.
In my opinion, it should be Go-Go Megaforce. As much as I didn't like Go-Go Samurai, and as much as I don't like them just reusing the same thing with the different suffix, it's something that makes sense, and they're already using MMPR's theme song, and a lot of MMPR's tropes, and a lot of MMPR's sets, and a lot of MMPR's stories. Like, we don't need them to be screaming, "It's morphin' time," because what are they going to do when Go Buster comes here and their morphin' call is already "It's morphin' time"? Then we're going to have 3 seasons, possibly 4 seasons, depending on what they do with the Go Kaiju footage, because Saban's just not going to leave it alone. That all use "It's morphin' time." Like, it's setting a trend currently that will end badly, in my opinion. So either come up with a new fucking morph call, or decide whether it's morphin' time or it's Go-Go Megaforce. Just pick and choose and settle. Because the back and forth thing is, like, really hurting my head. That's my gripe. I don't know, what's your gripe for episode 3 going viral?
Gosh, my only gripe was the thing about Noah's big, arms. and Jake's, like, wussy push-up. Like, I'm sorry, I really like that actor, but what was that? Like, really?
Was he on his knees?
I do a better push-up than that.
Do it. Prove it. Proving ground. Right now.
I can't prove it right now, but I'll prove it on my vlog if you like.
Go. Let's go. Right now.
I'll show you on my vlog if you want me to.
The proof is in the pudding. as they say.
Pudding?
I don't know.
You want pudding? You have pudding in the fridge?
Um,
Said something about pudding the other day.
I do actually. Yes, I do have pudding in my fridge. It's Chips Ahoy pudding. It's pretty good. Episode 4, Stranger Ranger. I will recap this episode because Cho took forever.
That's fine, please. By all means.
Stranger Ranger, episode 4. Basically, it's all about a guy pretending to be the Red Ranger. There's kind of there's two different themes going on here. One theme is do not lie about who you are, basically. Don't pretend to be something you're not. And the other theme is basically practice makes perfect. So, with the first theme, it's Jordan. Was that his name? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, Saban is really feeding the trolls here with making somebody who follows the Rangers and is wearing a silver t-shirt. That's a no-no. Because I already know a lot of the people who reviewed this episode already are making the correlation between this guy and Gokai Silver or this guy and Robo Knight. So, just because he's wearing a gray t-shirt does not mean he's going to be our 6th Ranger. He's some douchey guy who's pretending to be the Red Ranger and wanted to follow them for own personal reasons. I do not believe he's going to be Robo Knight. I do not believe he's going to be Gokai Silver. So stop it. So basically, it's about him at the beginning of the episode. He's in Ernie's juice bar, or brain freeze, or ice shack, or whatever the fuck they're calling it this time. And he's lying to a bunch of people about him being the Red Ranger and all the stuff he does in battle. And of course, like on fucking cue, a monster attacks. So everyone's looking at him like, hey, are you gonna do something? And he's like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. And he runs out. And instead of just like running out of sight of everybody and just staying and hanging out, he actually runs to the monster. Like he's gonna do something. But of course he goes out there to get shot at. Rangers show up. And the whole time, Troy is overhearing him, a lot of the other Rangers are overhearing him, and a lot of his so-called exploits of being a Ranger. And the funniest part is how he said, I could be blue, but I didn't want to. And so basically, they show up, save his ass, and they, go on to beat the said monster in Creepox. Not really defeat, but they make him go away for a little bit. They talk to Jordan and tell him, hey, you caused a lot of trouble here with you pretending to be something you're not. You put us in danger as well as yourself. Don't do that. Troy goes off into the forest to train the rest of the team on his hypersensitivity, sensing the air pressure thing. That I'm assuming was a big thing in Ghost Age because there was a lot of stock footage in this episode. So they're training in the forest. Of course, Jordan doesn't listen. He follows them into the forest, and with them...
No, he got shot at twice already.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the guy... There's no way this guy can be the 6th Ranger. He is a moron.
He's not very bright.
So he goes out to the forest, and of course with them doing their heightened senses training, they sense him coming, they transform, which is actually really cool. Like, I actually really enjoyed a lot of the out-of-suit stuff this episode. It kind of reminded me of old Power Rangers, and I know that's like kind of where they're going with it, but it felt really cool, and it felt really cool to have a personable side to the Rangers, because it's not like they told him to go away or they were mean. They actually kind of invited him into their training area and said, hey, why don't you give it a shot? Obviously he failed in spectacular fashion, which he seems to be pretty athletic, and you can always tell when athletic people are trying to be terrible because it's just awkward. Like, if he actually tried, he could do a lot of the shit that they were doing, but he had to pretend to not know how, and it was just awkward. So, monster attacks again. They get the doot, but it's not doot. It's just like a weird beat. So they get that on their Tensoder, or on their Tiki Morph, or whatever the fuck they call it in Megaforce. And they tell Jordan, sit. Be a good dog, and sit.
They tell him to stay here.
And then they run off to battle. And I think he did stay that time. I don't think he entered the battle again.
He did
But
stay there.
basically, they go up, and somehow it turned into... It went from a Troy-centric episode where, he's doing a lot of his sensitivity training, and it cuts to a lot of stock footage of the team using their newfound ability. And I was wondering why this shot looks so familiar, this whole sequence. And it's because Speed Racer Flubber on YouTube, if you guys don't know him, I suggest going and watching his stuff. His channel is actually on our channel, a little link to it. But when the rumors of Megaforce were swirling around about them using Ghost Sager footage, there was a lot of rumors that they weren't able to adapt it right, and he did a fan dubbing of this particular episode. So when the fight sequence between, well, technically Alata and Creepox happened, I was wondering where I had seen it before, because I hadn't watched the episode yet. And halfway through the fight, I tell Cho, I was like, oh, that's where I've seen it. This is the fan dubbing that Speed Racer did. Which, in my opinion, he did a way better job than Power Rangers. But that's just a little YouTube biasness. But, so that's where I saw that. And, it's your typical... He gets so close to defeating Creepox, and the Creepox is like, well, you're lucky I have to leave. I have a dentist appointment. And then just takes off. And, Monster of the Week gets destroyed, gets rebuilt. Megazord happens. And then all of a sudden, it goes from Troy's episode to Jake and Gia's episode where they get Land Brothers. And weird transition there, where all of a sudden they have fucking Land Brothers, which kind of makes sense because, the monster was super fast and everything, but they didn't spend a lot of time focusing on, Jake and Gia. I can't want to say Mike and Gia, but, Jake and Gia and the speed of the monster. I don't know, it just felt kind of weird. And they go on to summon Land Brothers, which is, like I said, I don't know, Drillmon, a dinosaur, and a Kabuto beetle. What is the other one? Is it like a rhino? What is it? I don't know what it is.
No, she said dino.
Well, no. Well, there's an actual dino one. He looks like T-Rex. But the one with the drill in his face, what is that supposed to be?
I don't know.
Is that supposed to be Drillmon? Is it supposed to be a rhino? Anyway, it's a fucking drill bit on his foot. And then the whole Kabuto beetle, the entire fucking Zord, his butt opens and it sits on the Megazord's head. And it's just...
Yeah, it's a rhino.
This huge headdress thing, which is not a good look. I don't like that Megazord at all. That combination
It's not very
is bad.
fashionable. It's not in season.
And the battle ends in a very stupid way. He kicks with the dinosaur foot. First he headbutts with the Kabuto head, which pinches him, and then he kicks him with the dragon foot, and then he does a Fours rider kick, this fucking drill bit foot. He does the rocket drill combo kick. You can't tell me that's not what it is, because that's exactly what it looked like. Defeated the Monster of the Week.
It's on the card.
Everyone's happy. At the end of the episode, Troy is in the juice bar. Jordan comes up, which is actually a pretty cool little moment. Jordan admits that he was lying about being a ranger. Everyone kind of ignores him and shuns him like they tend to do in these scenarios in TVs and movies. Goes to sit down, and, he sees Troy sitting there. Troy introduces himself. And then the guy goes on to comment about how the Red Ranger helped him. And then Ernie slips and throws a milkshake or something. And it might... Okay, this is the part which threw me off. Because this might... A small...
No.
Small sliver.
No. I have an explanation for that.
I think it might be a there's a chance of it being foreshadowing. Just a chance.
No. Let me say. I have an explanation.
Miss Cho, you have a question?
Thank you, Jesus. It's not a question. It's shut up and let me talk.
You talked to the whole first part.
I know, but listen, this is my not complaint, but my little bit to contribute for the entire episode. You know how they said, stay, be a good dog?
Yeah.
How you were saying earlier? Yeah. That's how you know he stayed.
Because he
practiced? They said, you better stay here. Yeah. He stayed there and practiced.
I think that's the main reason why people are making the correlation between him and a possible Silver Ranger, is because
he's got a gray t-shirt.
Well, yeah, partly because he has a gray t-shirt.
And because of that bit at the end.
Partly because he followed the Rangers to their training. Partly because the Rangers accepted him and helped him train. And then at the end where he shows incredible reflexes. A lot of those things spell Ranger material. You know, so that's why I'm saying there is a sliver of possibility that that was a bit of foreshadowing, the whole build-up of that character. I don't think it'll be Gokai Silver. I really don't. In my personal opinion, they're gonna, or whoever they use from Gokaiger, whoever's going to be that mentor Ranger, I feel will be an older Ranger. And it's a lot of rumors, and it's a rumor I truly want to believe in, but Jason David Frank posted a picture to his Facebook holding Gokai Silver's helmet, saying, I'm just going to leave this here for you guys. It could have been a fan thing. It could have been a whole big kind of ruse to throw everybody off. But that is the particular flavor of crazy I wish to subscribe to. Because I would love, for, in my opinion, the greatest Ranger to come back yet again. Adam being up there as well, but Tommy is Tommy. You can't deny that. Him coming back and being their mentor, I think, would be really cool. Plus, he'd get the epic fucking... And it would be you'd be able to explain away the whole fact that he's like 5 different Rangers. Because if he's able to use the Ranger keys, he can just fucking swap them back and forth. I don't know. That's my...
He's tall.
Oh yeah, you met him. She met him. Didn't fucking know, not me. Adam's here this weekend. Johnny Young Bosch is here at Anime Land Wasabi. And I'm going to go without you. And I'm going to go meet him. I might even possibly kiss him. I don't know. I might get arrested for that. But it'd be worth it.
I might get arrested for that. I know you would too.
Anyway, that's it for Mega Time. We're just being silly now. We tried to cram it in to as small of a package as possible. But when Cho gets talking, Cho gets talking.
It's usually you. You have to admit.
I'm just blaming it all on her this week.
You have to admit, it's usually you, so this is making up for lost time. Let's just say that. Because if you go back and watch the past episodes... No. Yes.
That was... You edited it that way. That's...
I didn't edit anything, and you can attest to that.
I'm not talking about...
You complain.
That's your fault. It's your fault. So we will see you guys next time. Well, okay, technically, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Because we have to record an episode tomorrow. We are going to start doing Kyoruger stuff. We don't know where.
Kyoruger!
We have no idea where we're going to put it. So, I would like some feedback from you guys. These episodes tend to run a little long as it is. So, would you like us to cram Kyoruger into the tail end of Mega Time episode? Where we talk to Megaforce and then Kyoruger? Or do you want it to be a separate show? When would be a good time to post? Because subs don't really come out till like Tuesday. We could try to do Raw, but I only understand like a minute bit of Japanese. So, I don't know. Let us know on the bottom what you think we should do. Should we add it to Mega Time? Should we post it on a different day? I don't know.
Right.
Let us know what you think we should do. I mean, if you like the format of Mega Time, we can do the same thing for Kyoruger. That's not that big of a deal. We can do a more informal thing where we just kind of vlog personally about it, and then we'll just cut them together. Yeah, just let us know. Feedback is the best way for us to improve the channel. If you have any opinions, we got a few new subscribers, so I want to thank you guys for subscribing, but now it's time to tell us what we could be doing better. So, Cho's going to go vlog. I'm going to edit and post this in fucking record time. So thanks for tuning in. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe to us, you don't have to. We would be honored if you would subscribe to us. Go hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment down below how you felt about episode 3 going viral, episode 4, Stranger Ranger, and if we sucked, tell us we sucked, basically. So we will see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Darcage. The cute one is Cho. We'll see you guys later.
I'm gonna reread the...
Green Ranger, go. Well, I wanted to go into Power Rangers Turbo theme song for a second. That is not correct.
Wrong season.